Greetings and welcome to episode 240 of the Words About Games podcast, a weekly video game news and culture podcast for Words About Games. This is the episode I'm truly hoping works because I've got the whole Elgato Wavelink software running, the microphone and all of the sound, and it's just, I'm just terrified that you're going to get a message off me maybe 5 minutes after we finished. It's like, we need to do it again. Because of the software. Everybody on Twitter, Moody, because it wasn't just you. Everybody on Twitter who was like, this Elgato Wave stuff's amazing.
I meant the mic.
I'm gonna kill you all.
I meant the mic.
You and I both saw what happened when I tried to use just the mic without the software.
That is true. But I did just mention the mic.
I'll tell you what, though. Like, the microphone, like the quality of the microphone and the quality of the sound of it and clip guard and all that stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Actually using it is one of the worst experiences I've had. Like, I put it on a par with trying to play Fallout 76 when it first came out. Like,
oh wow, bloody hell!
In terms of like the amount of issues
that low
I've had
bar there, ladies and gentlemen. That's a low bar.
Yeah,
a low bar.
And yeah, Elgato tripped over it with the unintuitiveness of their software and the fact that things just don't work sometimes for whatever reason they feel like. Anyway, I am one of your hosts, Amy K. Alexander, joined by your other host, Mr. Daffod Moody.
How are you doing, everybody? I hope you are well. It is Friday. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm good. I finally got some sleep last night.
Hey, I was just about to ask that as well. That's good. And you've spruced yourself up very dapper for the podcasters.
You know what? It was 2021 resolution, right? Because I realized somewhere in lockdown 1, I'd stopped giving a shit about looking decent for like podcasts and stuff, and I was like, you know what? I'm getting it back to that. I'm gonna take the time before the podcast to just look a bit nicer, because I feel like I deserve that for myself, right?
I always say, I'm saying this while I look like a slob right now.
You look great.
Oh, thank you. I think it's like the same thing of like just making a bed and everything like that. Just sprucing yourself up just a little bit and everything like that is always just good and everything like that.
Yeah. Sometimes you just do it for yourself and for nobody else, right? Because I gotta watch this video back at some point and be like, yo, God, I just what? Why?
What was I thinking?
It's like as a because doing YouTube and video editing and stuff, it's like I got used to the sound of my own voice, because you know how like you hate the sound of your own voice when you listen to it. I got used to the sound of my own voice, but then doing the Bloodborne video, and having to listen to myself say the same things over and over again, dozens upon dozens of times. I got back to that point where I was like, shut up.
Are you still talking in an hour-long video?
Like,
God damn!
You said that 10 times already.
Yeah. Why have people not told me to cut it down or something? What was I thinking?
No, yeah, it was good. It's good. I'm well rested for the podcast, which is nice.
Fabulous.
I had a dream about what our room / Words About Games room will look like last night, and I was like, I wrote it down because I was like, that's actually pretty dope. So
yeah, we have plans, we have ideas. Yeah,
so like I was like, if we can get this general layout down, like I feel like that'll be a good layout for the everything podcast streams.
Yeah, me working on my college work,
you working on your college work while I'm sitting playing whatever. Yeah. Probably Bloodborne.
Probably, yeah. Unless it's Bloodborne 2, Amy.
Bloodborne 2. Oh, Moody, you're not going to be able to. I'll be in that room for at least a week.
I'll be afraid to go in and say, Amy, I need the room.
We need to talk about the smell.
Yeah, but first, this smell, Amy.
You haven't left the room in a week.
It's only been a week.
I've only been in here a few hours. What are you talking about?
I've already completed the game twice. What are you talking about? Come on.
There's like 7 levels in New Game here. New Game Plus, yeah. Come on. Leave me alone. Let me alone. Anyway, this isn't a Bloodborne podcast as much as I wish it was. Because it's the Words About Games podcast. And this week, we're discussing the Resident Evil showcase. A new report about Cyberpunk 2077's development was the best-selling games of 2020 and more. You see how I've really made the intro of this podcast a lot leaner.
You've trimmed the fat.
I've trimmed the fat.
That's what I'm still trying to do.
Yeah, it's not because I accidentally deleted an entire paragraph. Could not be bothered to refill it. And I was like, that looks really short. And then I was like, actually, you know what? That looks better. Like,
short, simple, to the point.
Like, we'll also play OpenCritic head-to-head at the end of the podcast. We'll tell you what games are coming out next week.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
It's a lot.
There's a lot. And there are timestamps in the description below the video on YouTube and in the descriptions of wherever you're listening to this podcast if you're an audio listener. So you can skip to the stuff you want to hear. You can skip things you don't want to hear. I'll be honest. Even I'm tempted to skip the Cyberpunk discussion.
We are kind of sick of talking about it, but then Jason decided to drop it.
Yeah, it's like
and you just have to talk about it. So.
Yeah, if last week's podcast was Moody bringing the fire, like, and me sort of being like level-headed and whatnot, like this week's podcast is definitely gonna be me bringing some fire.
Yeah, the fire's still going. You're just bringing extra gasoline.
I'm bringing the petrol, and I'm just pouring the petrol on it while laughing maniacally and dancing around the fire.
Oh God! If you use Seth Rollins' music, burn it down.
It's like the scene in Harold and Kumar, the first one where it's just like, White Castle's the good burger joint, this is the shit burger joint. And he's just like, we should burn it down, just burn this motherfucker down. Yeah, that's me. But we're not going to burn anything down first, really, because I decided to put the Resident Evil showcase stuff at the top of the podcast. Because I want to talk more about that than I do about Cyberpunk, surprisingly. A game I never played and never will play.
So, yeah, I don't think I'm ever going to touch it either. So
yeah, it's like I've talked more about a game I'm never going to play than I have some games like I've played. I've probably talked more about Cyberpunk than I have about Bloodborne in the last month, which is fucking wild when you think about it. But yeah, let's talk about Resident Evil. So there was a showcase yesterday night.
Yes, there was.
Which is why we're recording this podcast in the daylight. As you can see on Moody's video, all the curtains are drawn, and it's like, oh no. But yeah,
well, the sun's literally on me right now. That's why I'm kind of happy that it's. If I've opened it, I'll be brighter than bright.
I'm doing these tangent, right? But I'm doing these streaming highlight videos once a month.
Yeah.
I really want to. I think I should add podcast highlights in there as well.
I think
funny podcast bits, right? I could definitely do that.
Just full on rage moments,
just that bit, just there, where it's like ah. I feel like if I scrub through the podcast, I could find a few funny clips.
Oh, there's always parts where we're just going all over the place. So,
last week where I came back from, I came back while you were doing Games Out next week, and I destroyed my entire setup. But I was muted, so you didn't notice.
Yeah, I was looking at the documents, so I was just like, this game comes out, it's called this, it's this, blah, 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 and I didn't even notice. So
and I was on the other side going, holding my microphone that I'd just call it But let's talk about Resident Evil. So the main focus of the Resident Evil showcase was Resident Evil Village, which is Resident Evil 8, which is coming out later this year. We got trailer, we got gameplay, we got a release date, we got pre-order bonuses and special editions. We had difficulty finding the demo because they didn't call it a Resident Evil demo. There was also the announcement of RE Verse, which we kind of knew about just going into the showcase. and then there was an update. I don't even want to call it an update. They mentioned the CG animated Netflix movie Resident Evil Infinite Darkness. So we're going to dive into all that, starting with Village. Like, it's the best place to start, really. What did you think of everything you saw last night of Resident Evil Village?
It's Resident Evil 4.
I know, right?
It's very Resident Evil 4. It's like, it's, well, I'll say this right now. I love Resident Evil 4. I know there's a lot of people who aren't the biggest fans, but I think it takes it in a different direction that doesn't work. That's neither here or there. That
it's a really complicated position to have, that, because it's like Resident Evil 4 is an amazing game, right? Pure and simple. It's fantastic, but it also, the result of Resident Evil 4 was also 5 and 6.
5 and 6. Yeah. That's the thing about it. I think that's why. If I think 5 and 6 were well received, I think if 4 would be thinking higher than what it already is, basically. But this is very Resident Evil 4-ish gameplay style, but visual, should I say, because obviously this is still a first-person shooter game, or first-person aspect more than anything. Does look like it's leaning more on the action-y than Resident Evil 7 did.
No, I don't know about that, because they talked about puzzles and they showed off, because there wasn't really that many puzzles in Resident Evil 7.
Yeah.
And even the ones that were there were kind of, there weren't really much. Like, I remember the shadow puzzles where you have the statue and rotate the statue and match the shadow. I remember that being the thing. But like when they mentioned puzzles and they were showing the gameplay stuff, that was like, there was that bit where all those jar things came out of the ground, and I was like, that already looks more in depth than anything from 7. Puzzle wise.
There's an extra puzzle. That means it's more puzzles this time than Resident 7. But no, like we've already said multiple times before, that both you and me do know the spoilers for this game and everything. So we are very intrigued to see
so we won't be
how this is all going to turn out.
We won't be speculating on any of the story beats in Resident Evil that we saw, because obviously we know the spoilers. So I think seeing some of the stuff helped us connect a few dots to spoilers that we know. But it wouldn't be fair to speculate on the plot, because you know how much.
Definitely
we know.
Not at all. Yeah, but no, what I saw, it was good. I enjoyed what I saw. I mentioned when we watched it together last night, and I mentioned myself, I was thinking that was surprisingly shorter than I thought it was, but I'd also at the same time didn't think, what were we actually going to get? Were we going to get like an hour-long presentation or something like that? And I'm just thinking, no, we were never going to get that. This was like 20 minutes long, wasn't it? Or just over 20 minutes or something.
Honestly, I don't remember. But it was probably something like that.
Yeah, so it was short and sweet. It came in, gave the information it wanted to give you, which was the release date, show you actual gameplay of it, show you the visuals, show you those crazy ass ladies who just look like they're gonna scare the shit out of you. Even though a lot of people just like, stop making them so hot because you're just making me not gonna want to kill them and everything. I'm just like, really? The crazy the lady makes me want to shoot the bugger. So I'm like, especially in the video game aspect, but no,
fear is not an emotion I'm feeling with regards to the ladies that we saw in Resident Evil 8.
Yeah. But no, it looks good. I can't deny that. I said myself, it looked visually beautiful. So
oh, God. Yeah, I think there was a watermark on it where it was like the visuals have been captured from a PS5. But obviously, it'll I imagine it'll look that good on an Xbox Series X and on a PC as well. But it looked amazing. Like, it wasn't just that it looked great. So like it felt like the area they showed was like the second area, because like there's stuff where it's like referencing, hey, you managed to escape my brother. So I'm guessing we've like, at this point, Ethan has already escaped from like the first area of the game, and the castle is the second area of the game. At least,
and I'm guessing that brother is the guy with the sunglasses with the giant hammer.
Maybe.
What everyone says looks like Dante from
but the like, it's not just that the game looks good; it does look good. It's also that it's the way, it's how the castle actually looks, right? It's like the way it's decorated, for example, like the way it looks really cool, like from that aspect, as well as just being like, wow, the graphics are really impressive. It's like, yeah, but the world design is also really impressive as well.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, and the new merchant looked disgustingly awesome. I'll just say that he looked disgustingly awesome. I was just like, "Whoa, you put on weight last time since we last saw you, mate." Even though you're a new merchant and everything like that, it's basically just in honor and everything. But no, yeah, I enjoyed what I saw and everything like that. I can't say it. And from the village aspect, there are a couple other things that we'll talk about, which I was thinking, but those things weren't for me. So yeah.
Yeah, like everything I saw, like I said, when we read the spoilers, I was like, everything I knew now about the game was like, I'm more excited to actually play this game, and like seeing the gameplay and how the gameplay like works, because I haven't played the demo yet. I've downloaded it. I'll talk about the demo on Monday, but like just seeing how it works and how the combat looks like it works and stuff, it looks like it's going to be a pretty good time. Like, it really does. Like, and that was what I wanted to know, like, more than anything else, going into this showcase, was just like, okay, how does it play? Like, what are the gameplay mechanics? Like, what is the focus? Like, I know, like, there was some nice little bits I noticed, like, blocking is important, great, whatever. I'd hope you get, like, I'm looking at some of the enemies, like the guy with the gigantic hammer, who like destroys all of his friends before like destroying you, and it's like, it'd be nice if there was like a dodge mechanic, because Ethan doesn't seem to move backwards very fast, and that sounds like it's going to be important.
Yeah, the only thing out of the mechanics what I saw, what just didn't look right, was him saying he can now raise his arms to defend himself, and I was just like,
blocking's important. That guy's got a sword, though.
Like, I was going to say that, yeah.
I don't know about this, but yeah, I noticed like when he was shooting, in the gameplay when Ethan was shooting the little guys with the swords, like one of them dropped their swords, so like disarming enemies might be a feature as well. Like not the tall lady, who was definitely going to be the thumbnail for this video, but the smaller ones, who are even more psychotic and even hotter, are like they like come in with the swarms of insects. Like that seems to me like it's going to be a runaway situation necessarily, as opposed to a stand and fight situation, which is cool because I like that kind of mix, especially in a survival horror game where it's like sometimes you can't kill them, run. But they are really hot. So
what should you have said to Ethan during that gameplay segment? Run, bitch, run.
But also they're really hot, so it's like, I don't know. I don't
just
know how
take
I feel.
Me now.
Yeah, it's like the door explodes and like the tall lady like ducks in, and it's just like, oh no. You got me.
Oh no.
Oh no.
That was not meant to happen, but yet felt so satisfying.
Just like,
we got close to each other.
Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Get the perfume out. Oh no.
It's going wrong.
The only thing is so at some point I'll be streaming Village later this year, and someone in chat's going to have to remind me, like, Amy, this is a horror game, right? You're supposed to be scared.
You have to run. You have to run away from it. Yeah.
And running away from the enemies. I'll be like, oh
yeah, I forgot.
Fine. Amy, why did it take you 65 hours to beat Resident Evil Village? Look, I don't want to talk about it, okay?
I don't want to talk about it.
That's between me and Resident Evil.
In those 65 hours.
The only thing that gave me pause, was the thing I just noticed, like, kind of flashing up on the screen as they were talking about pre-order bonuses. Max difficulty was the thing I noticed. You get, is it a pre-order bonus, or does it come with collector's edition, the limited edition?
I think it's the pre-order bonus, I think.
Right.
I'll have a double check. I'll make sure for you.
Yeah, so like you get like a gun and a model and a soundtrack and something to do with Ethan. I think it's like a digital comic or something. But you also get max difficulty. I'm not a fan of games segmenting difficulty as a pre-order bonus, or even just like as part of a collector's edition, because I know, like, we talked about it last night, like I think it was Metro Last Light, which offered its like hardest difficulty setting as like paid DLC, and it's just like, I don't know. That's not good, right? Right? Like, maybe I'm jumping the gun, and maybe there's something else to it. It's a thing I saw.
It is a bit irritating if it is part of the thing. So so the collector's edition, that's a statue, a box, the whole shebang there, steelbook.
There's a one underneath it though, because there's like 2 different special editions.
Yeah, deluxe edition. You get the Samurai Edge AW model pistol. You get the Founders footage filter. It's Resident Evil footage, Resident Evil tape, safe room, Mister Everywhere weapon charm. Unlock Village of the Shadows difficulty, which is the max difficulty.
Right.
So that's in the deluxe edition. Like we spoke about it last night, and for me, if they do the thing what you're thinking they're doing, then that's shit. We'll say that right now. But I think deep down, it's just saying you're gonna get an option. You can play the game like twice or whatever, or 3 times or whatever, how many times to unlock it eventually, or you can just buy the deluxe edition to get it now. Type of mentality. I mean, that is either way. That's still shit. Let's just be frank. That's still shite.
That's better, but not great. But
it's not good at all.
No, it's like it's like the thing with the cheats. I didn't mind, like the infinite ammo weapons from Resident Evil 2. Like, that was fine. But, like, it's like there's going to be people who want to play this game on maximum difficulty as soon as it comes out, because people who are like that, who want that kind of experience. And
especially like the speedrunners and everything like that they only play on max difficulties, so they're going to be locking those people in just to get the deluxe edition.
Yeah.
They know who they're catering for, and they know what they're doing.
So. We also got the release date, May 7th. The game is coming to current gen consoles and last gen consoles, so PS5, PS4, Xbox Series consoles, and Xbox One, as well as PC. So that's good. You get a free upgrade if you buy it on PS4, and then you can put your disc into PS5 or download it on PS5, and it uses smart delivery on Xbox. So.
It's overall it was a good event. There are some things like the massive thing. I think they have to talk about that, or someone has to question and say, "Yo, is this how this is?" Or you just put it in just to say, "Yo, you can get it now for an extra 20 quid or something."
Yeah, 20 quid's a bit steep, but
But you know it'll be 20 quid though, at the same time.
No, because it's however much the deluxe edition costs. That's why it's like, if it was like a couple of quid, like the soundtracks or whatever from RE2, that would be, I guess that would still be shitty, but it wouldn't be that big a deal. But the main thing I'm really happy with is the game isn't £70 on PS5. Like, guess Capcom didn't get the memo about it's $54.99. You know, like a reasonable price for a game, not $69.99, which is like just absurd. Like, it doesn't sound like much, but when you're poor, like it's 15 quid can go a long way. Like,
that can go a long way, ladies and gentlemen.
Like, I could not play. For example, like if I didn't have a game rental service, I would not have been able to play Demon's Souls because £70 is just too rich for my blood. But
I'm looking at the price on it. Sorry for putting in for PC. Oh, £65.
Is that the deluxe edition?
No, it's just the regular edition. I'm pretty sure it is. I'll click on it now. I'm pretty sure it's the regular edition. I'll have a look. View page. Okay, so... Oh, no, that's with the Resident Evil 7 one. So if you want the deluxe version, pre-purchase Resident Evil 7 Village, they're only offering the deluxe version, it looks like it, on Steam anyway.
Oh, that's a complete bundle.
Yeah, that's £58.
That's weird. Packages that include this game. Oh no, there it is. $49.99.
On Steam.
If you go into the bundle, you can find the game by itself. It's $49.99. Oh no, wait, you can't buy it separately. What the fuck?
But you can't buy it separately?
You can't buy it separately, but you can see in the package.
I bet you can when it releases, but they're keeping it in the highest one so they can sell it. Cheeky
Wait,
bastards.
that's actually a fucking atrocious deal.
Yeah.
Because it's 50 quid for Village. So it's 65, right? Expose time, we've gone down a rabbit hole here, right? So Resident Evil Village is $49.99, right?
Yes.
And Resident Evil 7 Biohazard is £6.59 at the moment. So you're getting the season pass as well, though. Which apparently Fox is already on, so I'm guessing he's already bought this pack. He's already bought this bundle. But yeah, you're getting the Resident Evil 7 season pass as well.
Who's bought it? Fox's.
Yeah. Yeah, I just hovered over the Resident Evil 7 season pass. He owns that. I might just own 7. But anyway, yeah. It's not a great deal. But yeah, it's like you can't buy it separately right now, which is a bit shit.
It is.
But it'll be 50 quid, so I'm assuming you'll be able to buy it separately in May. If you can't, we will fucking come down on Capcom like a bag of fucking hammers.
Yeah, we'll be talking Capcom. We're going to be talking if that happens. Yeah. I'm just going to have to get it on the old consoles then, just to be cheap.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I'm getting it on PlayStation, so
yeah.
Especially considering it's a PS5 game, not like a forwards compatible one. But let's talk about ReVerse briefly, because I don't remember much about it. It's a 6-player arena multiplayer competitive game where you play as a bunch of different characters from Resident Evil canon, and then it looks like when you die, so you play as like a human or a good person character like Claire or Leon, and then it seems like the implication was you die and then you turn into one of like the monsters, so like Mr. X or the guy with the chainsaw from Resident Evil 7. And
all the nemesis and everything.
It's all very cell shaded, and in the trailer that they showed, they were fighting in the RPG from Resident Evil 2 and 3, I guess. And I'm guessing there'll be other maps based on like other iconic Resident Evil locations. Like there'll probably be a Spencer Mansion.
Well, obviously something from Resi 3. Probably like
they'll be like the village from Resident Evil 4. Something from the third Resident Evil game.
Yeah, probably something from Village as well. Eventually,
probably like from all of them. Like they'll have the mansion from 7 or something.
Yeah. I'm just gonna be frank. This didn't work for me. I can appreciate if it works for anybody. If anyone says that looks awesome and looks hype and everything, that's fantastic. I'll be happy for you. But it didn't look good. It didn't look good.
Like Capcom keep going for this, right? They keep trying to make multiplayer Resident Evil a thing, and it never hits. And it makes me wonder why. Like, it makes me wonder what their strategy is, right? Like, because they got to plan things in advance, right? I'm sure they're not just going, "Oh fuck, we need to have another multiplayer game with this Resident Evil," and then like there's got to be forward planning, right? And I don't understand it, because in a world where in the past, in the 25 years Resident Evil's existed, Mercenaries has been a thing, and Outbreak's been a thing, and those are two things I think people would be happy to see come back. Like a multiplayer Mercenaries mod would be great, Outbreak would be great, and instead we've had Project Resistance, which everybody forgot about 10 minutes after Resident Evil 3 launched last year. And then it's like ReVerse, which, you know, it looks competent enough, but I feel like that's going to be another situation where the game's going to come out, people are going to play the single player, maybe try the multiplayer, and then just forget it exists. And then on top of that, leading into that, like in the years before, where we got things like Umbrella Corps and Operation Raccoon City, it's just like you need to switch tracks here with like what you're thinking for this kind of thing, because like nothing seems to be working. Like no one is talking about ReVerse right now.
Yeah, that's the thing about it. Yeah, not in a good way anyway. Whoever has mentioned it and everything, but it's the same thing with Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3, you were only playing as one character, and they threw in that Resistance pack just so they could raise it up to the full price of £55 or £50 or whatever it was for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One when it came out and everything. They did that just for that. They knew that.
It's what happened with Resident Evil 3. It's why in 99 Resident Evil, I mentioned this in my retrospective.
Yeah,
Resident Evil 3 had Mercenaries mode. Resident Evil 3's campaign like relied heavily on RNG and like being able to do things in a different order that would lead to different things happening in the game because it didn't have the B scenarios. So yeah, last year they did the same thing where they were like, here's a multiplayer mode. And this year I guess they're like, well, we'll try again. And then next year when whatever Resident Evil game comes out, are we gonna be in the same situation where RE-verse didn't hit? We'll try something completely different again. And
yeah, it is a weird aspect to this. It really is. Like, I'm just like, you can do the same thing what you did for Resident Evil 2. Have 2 campaigns intercrossing on multiple occasions with 2 different characters. You could really do that.
Or just don't. And focus on either making a different game, right? Like the team that made this RE-verse could just make something not tied to a Resident Evil game. Or they could just not bother. Because Village looks good. Resident Evil, Resident Evil Village looks great. Like, it doesn't need it reminds me of what was it, like the 2010s, when every single player game going would have like a tacked on multiplayer experience, like multiplayer mode that wasn't very good and no one played.
Yeah. That's the weird thing about it. It's just they're doing it because they want to do it, obviously, hopefully to try and make more value for this. But it does. It just, the verse doesn't look good.
No, I don't. It's just like, I don't know if it adds any value, to be honest. Like, it's going to come with it. It's going to be free. So, like, technically, it's like, it's a whole other thing you can play. But it's like, if I'm not going to touch it, does it add value?
Yeah, that's the thing about. They say if you purchase Village, you get this for free. But what if you just want RE-verse? What if that's the only thing you want?
Nope.
How you're going to pay for that? They're going to charge that, and you know that. So that's the thing. Well, how much are they going to charge people for it separately? And that's the thing they haven't talked about or even mentioned, because obviously that's slid under the thing.
Well, no, it's not a thing that they'll sell.
No, I don't think they. I think they will.
Because they don't. Well, they didn't with Resistance. Like, the thing about the reason this exists is because it's a lot easier to monetize microtransactions for a multiplayer game than the single player game.
Oh, we know that, yeah.
Because that's what they did with Resistance. There's like all the character packs and cosmetics and whatnot. So it's like they put it in just to make a bit extra money.
One final thing on it.
Infinite Darkness.
Yeah.
Was there a trailer? I was about to say there was a trailer, but there wasn't.
It was the same thing as they showed what's the trailer for Netflix.
There was a little bit of footage, and it was like, it's coming to Netflix in 2021. All right, whatever. Like,
yeah, at the end of the year, probably.
Yeah, it focuses on Leon and Claire, because, like, that's unprecedented, because only every single CG animated movie we've ever made has focused on Leon and Claire. Like, all right.
It really has as well, yeah.
Like, trust me, I have watched them.
Yeah. If they were confident this was going to get out for the game, they would have revealed it's coming out for the game.
It
isn't. It clearly isn't. I know it doesn't need to. I don't deny that. I agree with you. It doesn't need to. But I think it would have always been a good idea to always trying to do it at the same time. But obviously, as they have not mentioned the date, and just say it's coming on Netflix this year, obviously it's not. So
October.
Yeah, none of the CG films have been.
They've not been amazing.
Okay. No. They haven't been okay at all. So they've just been basic.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like, oh, if you're a Resi guy or girl or person, you might enjoy this type of thing. But it's just like,
they're enjoyable enough if you're a Resident Evil fan, but like, I would never say go out of your way to go and watch them, because they're not amazing. Like, it's like watching. It was like when I watched the Mighty Ducks trilogy the other night. It's like, I would never tell anybody, "Oh, you have to watch these films; they're amazing." Like, you can put them on and you can have a decent time with them, but I would never say they were like great films.
I agree.
But yeah, it's whatever. Like, it's coming out in like October time, I'd imagine. Spooky season.
Yeah, probably you would think Halloween. Yeah, you would think that.
I just realized I didn't delete a story from last week. It's much further down.
That's right.
I'll delete it when I get to it. But anyway, we've got a story from this week.
Yes, we do, Amy.
So that was Happy Fun Time podcast.
Come back next week for the Happy Fun Time podcast. Time to go to the miserable podcast.
Time to go to the angry podcast. Okay, so we got a story here. New report details Cyberpunk 2077's development troubles, crunch, and almost entirely fake E3 demo. This is from Wesley Ian Poole over at Eurogamer, who writes, a new report has shed fresh light on Cyberpunk 2077's troubled development. According to Bloomberg's development sources, Cyberpunk 2077 suffered from a raft of technical problems and unrealistic deadlines set by CD Projekt management. Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous December 2020 launch, which revealed serious technical issues with the game on consoles and glitches, bugs, and cut content across all platforms, resulted in its removal from the PlayStation Store and a warning label on the Microsoft Store about the performance of the game on Xbox One. Last week, CD Projekt co-founder Marcin Nowinski addressed the events leading up to the botched launch of Cyberpunk 2077 in an attempt to explain how the game's widely lambasted Xbox One and PlayStation 4 versions were released in such a poor state. We can skip that because we talked about that last week. He threw the QA department under the bus and refused to acknowledge the crunch or the fact that the game didn't exactly do particularly well on PC. That was the gist of it. There's a whole thing we did last week on the podcast for the full context. I'm going to skip ahead. However, according to Bloomberg, CD Projekt's own developers said many common problems were discovered, but the staff didn't have time to fix them before launch. According to Bloomberg sources, CD Projekt's management dismissed concerns raised by engineers that Cyberpunk 2077 was too complex to run well on the aging last-gen consoles. The report also revealed that while Cyberpunk 2077 was announced in 2012, full development began in 2016 when studio head Adam Badowski took over as director and overhauled the game, including shifting it from third-person to first-person. Bloomberg reports Cyberpunk 2077's eye-catching E3 2018 demo, quote, was almost entirely fake, end quote. CD Projekt hadn't yet finalized and coded the underlying gameplay systems, which is why so many features, such as car ambushes, were missing from the final product, Bloomberg said. Developers said they felt like the demo was a waste of months that should have gone towards making the game. Jason Schreier, author of the report, took to Twitter to reveal more, saying features originally planned for Cyberpunk 2077, such as wall-running flying cars and ambushes, were all cut during the process of development. CD Projekt addressed the removal of the wall-running feature shown off in gameplay demos prior to launch in a July 2020 interview. Speaking to Game Reactor, level designer Max Pears said wall-running was removed due to design reasons. Like, wall running is a really hard thing to put in a game because, like, your level design has to change so much to be able to adapt to players being able to run on a wall. Mm-hmm. So, like before we dig into the whole thing, I actually understand why that was taken out. It's the same reason why there's no wall running in Apex, despite there being wall running in Titanfall. Previous gameplay had shown player character V using mantis blades to perch in hard-to-reach spots before leaping down to assassinate enemies. This never made it into the final version of the game. Schreier also tweeted to comment on Cyberpunk 2077's disappointing police system, which was, quote, all done at the last minute. As is evident by the final product, it is unclear to some of the team why they were trying to make both an RPG and a GTA with a fraction of Rockstar's staff, end quote. CD Projekt's approach to crunch has come under fire in recent years. In September 2020, CD Projekt told employees it would require them to work 6-day weeks until the game's November launch. It was subsequently delayed to December, breaking a previous promise not to force compulsory overtime to finish the project. This new compulsory overtime was paid as is required by Polish law, but came after many employees were reportedly working long hours already. When CD Projekt delayed Cyberpunk a final time in December, it said it was struggling to ship the large number of different versions of the game it needed to have ready this year, or last year I guess, including current and next-gen consoles, PC and Google Stadia. Bloomberg reveals the extent of the crunch that occurred at the studio over the years, with some staff saying they felt pressured to put in extra hours by their managers or co-workers. And then there's an update to the story, which is where the fire is going to come from. CD Projekt studio head Adam Badowski has responded to Bloomberg's report on the development of Cyberpunk 2077, taking issue with the description of its E3 2018 gameplay video as almost entirely fake.
Can I just say one thing before you continue there? Jason Side did say he got in contact with and said, yo, we're revealing this article. Do you want a quote? They refused.
I'm going to talk about that. Don't better believe I'm going to bring that up. However, Badowski failed to address the allegations of crunch in Cyberpunk 2077's unrealistic release timeline detailed in Bloomberg's report. Quote tweeting Bloomberg journalist Jason Schreier, Badowski published a statement pointing out Cyberpunk 2077's demo was labelled as a work in progress, and while it is different to the end product, quote, our final game looks and plays way better than that demo ever was, quote. Sorry. Missing features, Badowski insists, were part of the creation process. Badowski also points out the PC version of Cyberpunk 2077 received strong reviews, while admitting the console version is another case. Oh, let me at him. Just let me fucking at him. I just want to punch him in the face. Like, we'll forego talking with words and just hold me back. Like, kill you. Why? Why? Oh, Jesus.
I unleash you, Amy.
So, let's start with what you just pointed out, which is so Jason's full article is up on Bloomberg. You can read it. It's 2,000 words long. And then there's a Twitter thread where he goes into some stuff that didn't make the article because he had a soft word limit for the article itself and what he could put into it. And he mentions, as any investigative journalism report will do, Jason reached out to CD Projekt Red and said, here's this article I'm working on. Have a read of it. And if you've got a response or you want me to put some quotes in the article, I'll be more than happy to do so. And CD Projekt Red didn't respond. Waited a day. Quote tweeted Jason Schreier. Adam Badowski quote tweeted Jason Schreier and just cherry picked a couple of bits out of the article. Which, if that doesn't tell you how disingenuous and shitty this person is as a studio head, then I don't know what to tell you, because it should. Because that's just shitty behavior all around. Because you just know there's a bunch of CD Projekt Red diehard fans who he's aiming to direct towards Jason Schreier by doing that. Whether intentionally or not, and I have to assume it is because that's how he's approached it. That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to make himself look like the good guy by only responding to certain parts of the article that he feels he can respond to in a positive way, and then ignore the things about the crunch. Or about people telling him, "Hey, this game's not going to be ready when you say it's going to be." But no. Mm-hmm. Well, he took issue with the one thing. He took issue with the thing that's just semantics.
Yeah.
Well, the E3 2018 demo was fake. Yeah, everybody knew that it was a work in progress. Everybody with half a brain knows that the demo that they're looking at is probably not from the game, because the fucking game's not playable at this stage. It still isn't, but that's an entirely separate conversation. No one thinks that that was the game. So going, well, it was just work in progress. It's yeah, but you showed off. It's Aliens, Colonial Marines all over again. You showed off what you wanted to make, and yes, sure, some features are going to get cut, and that's going to happen. But it's a bunch of stuff that you implied was going to be a part of the game wasn't part of the game, and that's the part that's news.
Yeah,
not the fact that it was. Of course, it was a doubt. Shut up, Badowski.
Yeah, you kind of just want to slap him personally, but no, yeah, it's insane how this reeks of the same thing that Anthem and Mass Effect Andromeda went through. That's how crazy this is, and it's not even in the part that you wrote off, that you read here and everything like that, but but you mentioned it. The people in the studios were telling him, this game ain't going to be ready in time. You have to push it to 2022 minimum. They were telling them, ladies and gentlemen. The staff and everything knew this game was going to get nothing but complete backlash. They knew this, and they were telling the bosses, you got to push it. You got to, at least minimum 2022 and everything. And it's come out like a garbage truck like fire. Yeah, if you playing this game and it works for you, like we hear, it works well overall on PC, but there are bugs on it still. One that I don't think has been fixed yet that can crash the game overall, and I think completely delete your save. But I might be wrong there. If I am, do let us know in the comments. We will. I'll even say, I was wrong, and all like that. That's no problem. But yeah, this was just you go to the whole thing of them throwing QA under the bus like last week. Then we talk about the week prior was about crunch and everything, and then how the disastrous the launch has been, and it's just one shit after one shit, and the shits are getting bigger. They aren't getting smaller, these gem. The amount of crap that comes out of these bosses, these CEOs' heads, mouths right now, it just keeps piling and piling and piling. And it's like watching the start of the Jurassic Park scene with Jeff Goldblum. That's one big pile of shit, type of thing. And then you're literally just thinking, "Oh shit, that's getting bigger," type of thing. But yeah, it's just.
I mean, we talked last week about them because I even titled the podcast. You know, like the CD Projekt throw this QA under the bus, which is what they did. And this, like, because like Eurogamer's done a decent job writing the summary to what out. It's like it's a long article. And it's become Twitter drama as well. But like, it honestly feels like Badowski's just kind of thrown his developers under the bus. Like,
hey, now he has, yeah.
On top of just QA, because now it's like part of his response was, well, you only talked to 20 people, like out of a staff of however many it was. I don't remember. Like, you know, if you look, you'll definitely be able to find 20 people who are mad about their jobs. It's like, Adam, darling. If 20 people are talking to a journalist about this, like that wasn't their first resort. I guarantee you, that wasn't the first thing that they thought of. They've probably been trying to talk to you or like or whoever their boss is for months, if not years, trying like pre-launch. Like, and they can't. They're not the only ones. They're not the only ones. Yeah. Like, Badowski took issue with one of the people that Shire talked to, because they were a former employee and they didn't really know what was going on. And it's just like, do you want to ask the complicated question of why they're a former employee, Badowski? Yeah. Shall we go down that road?
Yeah.
And maybe try and find out.
They don't want to do 60, 70, 80 odd hours a bloody week to crunch to get this game done in time for
you. Maybe you're just a shit manager, Badowski. It certainly sounds like it.
It does, and it's a shame. It's an absolute shame, and that's the thing about it. Like I said it, I think at the end of our final episode of 2020, CD Projekt Red started 2020 arguably on top of the world of what with joint first / second or third first, depending on who you spoke to, of game that was one of the most anticipated games, along with Last of Us Part 2. Both of them got nothing but got backlash like crazy. One undeserving, and this one completely deserving. And it's just complete. The shit show's just got even worse. And I think like we're going to be talking about the best game, the best selling game shortly and everything, and everything else. But like, it's crazy to think what's happened with this game.
Oh, I've got more.
Really, really is. Oh no, yeah.
I've just pulled up Badowski's statement. And I've remembered stuff I wanted to talk about. But first, we're going to have the traditional podcast skip.
You should put an advert in.
I should get ads just for this moment. It's like the ad placement is literally just for these skips, so that it covers them up. There's a couple of things I wanted to talk about. Like that Adam Badowski took issue with that I just feel is like absolute horseshit. Like one of them was there was this thing in the story which I imagine Eurogamer didn't put in because Jason even said afterwards on Twitter that he wished he hadn't put this part into the story because people focused on it a bit too much, about non-Polish staffers being in meetings and Polish people would sometimes talk in Polish in the meetings. It's like it's not as because that's an easy thing to react to. It's like 1/3 of everything that Adam Badowski reacts to. But what he takes issue with the fact that 19 of the 20 people Jason talks to was anonymous.
There's a reason. He says it in his article. There's a reason why they has to be anonymous because of how disgusting this industry can be. As much as we love this industry, it can be a vile one that can knock you down and not allow you to get a job.
Yeah, like given that at this point, CD Projekt's Red's management are running out of departments to metaphorically throw under the bus. Like, do you think any of your current employees would want to like say who they are when they're talking to Jason Schreier about this stuff? Like, you could honestly tell me that they would face no repercussions.
Yeah,
for doing so. in that case, get your head out your ass. And the other
They'll
one
be
is
fired faster than bloody going for the toilet.
Yeah, they'll be fired for like taking too long of a lunch break, or their performance was just subpar, like vaguely, like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they would suddenly they would suddenly just appear. Oh, you have a performance review tomorrow.
Yeah,
wait, I had one just 2 weeks ago.
They would suddenly be doing a bad job, right? Somehow, like, that's just how shit works. And the other one I wanted to mention was, like, one of his defenses of releasing Cyberpunk 2077 was literally like, we got 9s and 10s on reviews on our PC version. Right? Well fucking done. But let's talk about those 9s and 10s, Mooney. Because
talk about the 9s
like
and 10s.
the landscape has shifted very dramatically as to how people generally like talk about Cyberpunk 2077 now, or post December, I guess. But pre-December, can you imagine being? In fact, we don't need to imagine because this happened. But like, could you imagine being a reviewer of the game, of like reviewing Cyberpunk 2077, and maybe not being a giant site like IGN or GameSpot, and giving Cyberpunk 2077 a 7 out of 10, just to pull a completely random number out of the air? Like, can you imagine being in that position before Cyberpunk comes out? It's the most anticipated game of 2020. Like, it has so many rabid fans who are ready to defend it to the death. Mm-hmm. Would you put a 7 on that review?
Yes.
I mean, I know you would, because you don't give a fuck. You'll fight everybody. But, like, if you're sitting there thinking, I'm going to get utterly destroyed by Cyberpunk fans.
I understand where you're going with this.
Because Callie did it, and look what happened. At GameSpot, Callie did it, and look what happened to Callie. Mm-hmm. She gave it a 7 out of 10. She got fucking bombarded for doing that. Yeah. So, like, I think there is a level of inflation to the review scores. Not in a malicious, ethics and games journalism way, but just in a way of, like, a lot of people probably didn't want to deal with mass harassment. So, like, Adam Badowski hiding behind the review scores of Cyberpunk 2077 is really insidious.
Yeah.
Because they courted this audience on purpose. Like, the type of... Sorry to interrupt you. I'm just going to keep going on my tangent, on my rant. Like, they courted this audience on purpose by the way they marketed the game, like, pre-release. By, like, sharing Gamergate memes and being like, oops, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Like, they courted an audience that would be ride or die. So yeah, like, if I was sitting at an outlet, writing my Cyberpunk review and being like, well, it's good, but it's got some bugs, and it didn't jive with me. I'm thinking like a 7 or an 8. Like, I might in my head then be like, well, I'm gonna bump that score up so that the Cyberpunk fans don't destroy me on social media.
Yeah, that's the thing about it, that you can get. That is the thing about it, because bullying is such a disgusting thing, as social media bullying is a disease. Like I've said multiple times, I truly believe bullying is like cancer. It's a disgusting thing that needs to be beaten to death to get out of it. Basically, it is absolutely vile. And to think that the possibility of what you're saying there is, and I do agree with you. I think there was possibility of, like, just like, I'm not going to have this hassle. I'm just going to bump that. Deep down, I probably think this is a 6 or a 7. I'm going to bump it up to 8 or an 8.5 if we do put just decimals or something like that, just to maybe not get the shit I'm going to get. I might get a little shit in, why wasn't it a 9 type of thing, but in 8 they mostly accept from the type of thing. But no, you are not wrong that. To like we saw the things that happened with that lady from GameSpot was absolutely disgusting. Just because he didn't. It was like, the thing is, she said she enjoyed the game. That's the worst thing about it. So I enjoy this game.
Well, people don't.
There are problems. There are problems with it that knock it down.
Yeah, where review scores are concerned, when you've got a score, a number at the end of a review, like, people will just go straight to that number and not read the context.
Yeah. I openly admit, younger me, I did. I openly admit, younger me, 18s, the late teens into my early 20s, I did that. I openly admit that. And then after speaking to people and learning and everything like that, I was just like, no, I can't just go off the number. Just go, oh wow, it's got a 9. But did you read the article? No, it got a 9. That's all that matters.
It got a 9 out of 10, right? But it goes back to the Neo. It goes back to the Keith buying Neo when he bought his PlayStation 4 argument, where it's like, you gave it a 10. It's like, I did give it a 10, Keith, but if you'd actually listened to the words I was saying, you wouldn't have bought the game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing about it. Yeah. We don't give numbers on our reviews.
No,
when we talk about the games. We do not do that. We just tell you, this game we enjoyed. This game we do not enjoy. This game was absolutely brilliant, as a must-buy, go and check it out type of mentality, or something like that. We don't say it's a 10 or anything like that.
Sit back and tell you what we think.
Yeah,
that's it.
That's the thing about it. And I think that that's a good thing when you see a couple of places that are starting to do this now. Sadly, websites, IGNs, the GameSpots, the Eurogamers, and all like that, the higher ups, basically, because of the clicks, they want the numbers.
I will say that Eurogamer doesn't. It's got a recommendation says they used to. They changed it to.
I did not know that.
It's like essential, recommended, nothing, or avoid, I think, is their system.
Well, that's not a bad way, that. But no, yeah, I did not know that, so I apologize for that for Eurogamers and everything like that. But no, yeah, that's how, many times, we've been told many times from previous people from GameSpot or the IGNs and everything like that, they've argued we should get rid of the point system here, guys. Just give an article. Just say, do you like this game or not? That's all you have to bloody say.
Yeah.
Not worry about the number. And that's all you... And sadly, the higher-ups care only about the number. And that is very disappointing. I think we're eventually going to get there with the big places, but it's not going to happen for a couple of more years and everything.
I think there's a larger discussion to be had about how relevant reviews themselves even are at this point.
There's that as well.
Because I don't know. We stopped doing reviews. I should say I guess it was a wee thing. We stopped doing reviews in 2018. Proper reviews. We switched to impressions. Dead Cells, when Dead Cells came out, because that was the first one that we did that for. Because, again, a discussion we can't really have on this podcast right now because it would take us another half an hour, but of just reviews, do they even matter anymore? Versus just general impressions of the game. If I play the first 5 to 10 hours of Hitman 3 and give you my impressions on a podcast versus finishing the entire thing and giving you a detailed review, am I going to get extra hits for that? Am I going to have so much more insight into the game?
Yeah.
That it would make and again, there's a huge discussion to be had about that. That I don't know if the industry at large is ready to have yet.
Oh, the industry at large, the media industry at large are not ready for that. Not the games industry, like I said. The games industry and media, ladies and gentlemen, they are a different aspect. Like I said, I saw someone who is a media person speak about that on Twitter a couple of days ago, saying, "We are not games industry. No. We are the media industry. Stop getting us confused."
Yes.
Type of thing. But no, yeah, it is a whole thing. Scores are irrelevant. Big developers and that saying, "Oh, brilliant!" Like when you see Sony throw out a game and a week later they're literally with their new marketing thing, 10 these develop they talk about. Here's the game that everyone's talking about. It's got 10s out of 10s, 9s out of 10s from all these big outlets and all like that. That type of thing always happens, but it's not that important. This is the thing where you see from movies these days. Movies sometimes do use the Rotten Tomatoes score thingy, which is a load of bollocks at the same time. But sometimes when they use articles, they just use a quote from it. This film was awesome, or something like that, and that's all that really matters.
Yeah, it'd be we've gone off on a bit of a tangent, but it is still related. So
yeah,
I'll make this the last point. It'd be let's say you're in your teenage mindset again, Moody, and I've just put this video out, Bloodborne, 6 years later, and it's the same video, but I've put a score at the end of it, right? And you're in your teenage mindset of, I'll have a look at the score, and it says 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
At the end, Like, now I know you've played Bloodborne before, and I know what happened when you played Bloodborne. So like the value of that review, and it's not really a review, it's a retrospective, but the value of that video for you is in the words that come before. Because if you just skipped to the end and saw the 10 and then bought it, you would hate it, more than likely.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I openly admit that. Yeah, I would be like, oh God's sakes, Jesus. Why did I
buy this? Because it said 10 out of 10. Well, that fucking person's stupid and they don't know what they're talking about. Yeah, but if you actually listen to everything that came before, it's like, well, actually, there are points in the thing where it was like, hey, you might not like this because it's like this.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. Cyberpunk, let's just get back to Cyberpunk, just do better. No, CD Projekt Red should have said, do better.
I mean, yes, right? CD Projekt Red do better because your developers don't deserve this. The people who aren't at management level in your company do not deserve what you are putting them through every single week at this point. Every week you're doing something. You're perpetuating this discussion at this point. Wow. Like Moody's just like, oh. But it's just like, and for the love of God, to Marcin Nowinski and Adam Badowski and anybody else who wants to who is at management level at CD Projekt Red, who keeps wanting to just say dumb shit on the online, I'm begging you, for the sake of the people who work for you, shut the fuck up, please.
And she's being nice there, ladies and gentlemen, when she says that.
For the sake of the people who work for you, not for my sake, not for me being sick of talking about Cyberpunk 2077, for the people who work for you, shut up. Because you're just making it worse. Like, how many people do you think read Adam Badowski's response to Jason Schreier's article who work at CD Projekt Red and who are probably already really demoralized based on everything that's happened in the past month? And who feel worse now from that?
They're meant to be getting ready to move on to their next game, basically, and a small team constantly sorts out the bugs and everything. But other than that, that's what they're meant to be doing right now. They can't be doing that right now because they're probably all hands on deck. 80% of that team was probably still working hard getting this game sorted, and going off what they were getting, what the developers were and the team were telling the hires up. This needs to be a 2022 game. So this game might not get fully sorted until 2022, which is disgusting to think, if that is true. If that happens and everything like that. And then it still comes to the part of like, I'll say this right now, you've already said it. I'm not getting this game. I'm not going to touch it. I've been humming and hawing about it throughout. You've seen the transition when it comes to me through the videos and podcasts that we've done, but I've decided I'm not getting it. It doesn't deserve my money. It doesn't deserve my time. And so CD Projekt Red really needs to get the higher ups, should I say, the bosses need to just go and get retrained, or just get out of there, because you clearly don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, I will say when we're talking about CD Projekt Red in these terms, we are talking about the management.
Yeah.
Not the developers. I've got all the respect in the world for the developers, the PR, the marketing. Well, maybe not the marketing, but. For an entirely different set of reasons that we've talked about before, but you know what I mean. Like the people, the workers, not the leaders. I've got all the respect and empathy, and I just feel really bad for them.
Yeah.
Because it should have been there. Yeah, 2020 should have been there. Yeah.
Should have been. Yeah. We should be talking about how great this game has been, or how well received, and it isn't. It's a ball on fire.
Yeah, like in an ideal world, like I could have been sitting here or sitting on the Game of the Year podcast or sitting on the last review podcast we did last year of last year, and just being like, you know what, it was a rocky road to get here, but this game is out and it's fantastic, and just being like endlessly lavishing praise on the developers. And I'm not. I'll still endlessly lavish praise on the developers, but management needs to sort itself out, because fucking Jesus Christ, like I didn't think we were ever going to see mismanagement on the level of Anthem, like for a long time, and it happened in a year. Crazy, ridiculous.
Let's move on, Amy.
Let's move on. NPD. We've got the best-selling games of December 2020 and the best-selling games of 2020 as a whole. We're going to start with the top 10 best-selling games of December 2020. Number 1, you'll be surprised to know, was Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Number 2 was Cyberpunk 2077. Number 3 was Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 4 was Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 5 was Madden NFL 21. Number 6 was Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 7 was Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 8 was NBA 2K21. Number 9 was Immortals Phoenix Rising. And number 10 was Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Those were your top 10 best-selling games of the month of December in 2020. Does anyone really want to talk about those? Nah, because
I'll just say it's not surprising that those were the games that were all in the top 10, basically. I'll say that right now.
The December roundup's weird because it's like, here's the best-selling games of the month. But nobody wants to talk about that because here's the top 20 best-selling games of 2020. Should I do this in reverse? Instead of starting at the top, should I start at the bottom?
Go at the bottom.
Number 20, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 1 and 2. Number 19, Cyberpunk 2077. Number 18, MLB The Show 20. Number 17, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Number 16, Mortal Kombat 11. Number 15, FIFA 21. Number 14, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. Number 13, NBA 2K21. Number 12, Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales. Number 11, Marvel's Avengers. Number 10, Final Fantasy VII Remake. Number 9, Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Number 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Number 7, Ghost of Tsushima. Number 6, The Last of Us Part 2. Number 5, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Number 4, Madden NFL 21. Number 3, Animal Crossing New Horizons. Number 2, Call of Duty Modern Warfare. And number 1, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War. Fucking Warzone, man. Fucking Warzone.
Yeah, it really was. It was. Congratulations to all of them. Some were surprised. Like top 20. Congrats to Tony Hawk's.
Tony Hawk's held it in there.
Apparently, that's a really good remake and a really good game overall. Now, it didn't come out broken or anything. But no, yeah.
I tried it. I was really bad at it, and
congratulations to it. Like I didn't expect that one. I'm not surprised Kakarot's in the top 20. It was in the top 10 for at least for 8 months and everything.
It's that Weeby January fighting game. There's always one Weeby January fighting game that hangs in there for the entire year. Like Jump Force did it. Kakarot's done it.
It did, yeah.
Fair play.
Yeah. Congrats, Miles Morales. For a game that everyone calls is just a side project.
I want to point out as well, because the MPD is the MPD is based on revenue, not sales units. So it gets a bit weird where it's like, well, Miles Morales was a cheaper game than Avengers at launch, and it's one place behind it.
Yeah,
but it's its revenue, not its sales units. It's entirely possible that Miles Morales sold more units than Avengers. Is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I agree. I think there's a high chance that probably happened. I'm surprised Final Fantasy VII is a little lower. I thought that might have been around the Last of Us Ghost of Tsushima mark and everything like that. Not surprised that Mario Kart there. Not surprised.
When you see the games that are ahead of it and you think like it's Final Fantasy is a big deal, but it's not that big a deal. Like, you know what I mean? It's like Final Fantasy is never going to be like, we're never going to go into any given year and be like, is Final Fantasy going to be the best selling game? It's like, that's not happening. Like,
oh yeah, I didn't think it was going to be the best selling game, but I did think it might be.
Like top 10 is fantastic for Final Fantasy.
That's true. Like, yeah, that's true. Like, congrats to Ghost of Tsushima, brand new IP, came out, killed it. A lot. I know it was mixed for you, didn't work for you. The game, I haven't touched it yet, so I can't comment on it. But
it's right there with The Last of Us Part 2 as well, which makes me wonder. Like, did it sell? It must have sold almost as. Did it sell almost as well as The Last of Us Part 2? Possibly, like a new IP versus like. Again, one of the most anticipated games of 2020. Like,
yeah, and I'll just say this right now: a big giant middle finger to all you whiny little bitches to The Last of Us Part 2. Top 10, 6th place, just behind all the other games. That I was actually not surprised that it's behind.
Like
like giant
four
middle fingers
multi-platform games, and and arguably one of the most talked about games of the year. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine, right?
Yeah, it's just like everyone who's bitching about it. Oh, it's going to lose all these sales now and all like that.
People are canceling their pre-orders because nobody's going to buy this game because of the story leaks.
Yeah, nothing like that. Yeah. It's what, top 3 best-selling PlayStation games of all time or something?
Yeah, we'll get into the notes in a minute.
We'll get into that. But not surprising with Valhalla. Not surprising for the NFL games, the Call of Duties. Not surprising that Animal Crossing.
It's crazy when you think that Animal Crossing only came out on one platform.
That's the thing about it, yeah.
And like, if you remove the Call of Duties, which are always like a surefire, this was the best-selling game.
Yeah,
like
you pull out all the AAA games, like the cross platforms and everything. Yeah, it's Last of Us. Then it's Ghost of Tsushima.
Animal Crossing was the best-selling not Call of Duty game of 2020.
Yeah.
Like,
do you think it's? I think you're going to say no to this, but I'm just going to ask you. Do you think it's a damning indictment that not a single Xbox exclusive is on here?
Not really.
Or because of Game Pass, it's like it's irrelevant if it's on this.
I mean, it's irrelevant to Microsoft, right? Because their metrics are completely different because of Game Pass. Yeah. But also, like, what came out? Ori came out. Like, that was never going to be an MPD game. Flight Simulator is a very niche. Like, it's amazing. Don't get me wrong, it's an amazing game, but it's also very niche. And beyond that, it's like.
But does it also show that how far they're still behind when it comes to exclusives?
Oh,
like, you've got bloody exclusives still with like from Nintendo that came out 2-3 years ago on here.
Oh yeah,
Smash Bros, Mario Kart.
I mean, we came into this generation like within the first sort of year. It was obvious that Microsoft was behind on their on exclusives, and like it's a long process to fix that. Like. We said, like, when we were podcasting in 2015, for God's sake, when we were talking about this, and we said Microsoft needs studios. Like, they can't just say we're going to make exclusives because they don't have any studios. And then they went out and then they got some studios because obviously Phil Spencer listens to this podcast and takes his advice directly from me. Like, that's clearly what happened. And
definitely, I can understand why that.
And like, it's just going to take time. Like, we talked about it last week. On one of the podcasts, I don't remember which one, like they have a lot of games now in development, and a lot of studios or like parts of studios are working on things that we don't even know about yet. So like,
there's like each studio's like working arguably on 2 games.
Yeah, like right now, they're behind. 2021, apart from Halo Infinite, I don't see how they're gonna make a dent again. But once you start getting into 2022, 2023, then you're starting getting into the territories where things like a new Gears might come out, Fable might come out, Avowed might come out, Perfect Dark might come out, Hellblade 2 might come out. Like, that's when you're going to start seeing more and more impact.
I think it'll show how incredible those games were if they actually hit the top 20, knowing that Game Pass is out.
Well, what you got to remember as well is there's that weird thing a couple of studios have talked about in the past, which is Game Pass actually helped their sales. Like, I remember this was I remember a specific story where they were talking about Forza Horizon 4, where it was on Game Pass day and date for people to play, and was also the best-selling game in the Forza Horizon series.
Yeah.
Like, with a big sales bump. So, like, there's this weird thing that I've never been able to figure out, where it's like, it's in Game Pass, and people can play it on Game Pass, but also it sells better. And honestly, I feel like part of that might even be down to marketing, right? Because more people are talking about a game that's going into Game Pass, so people are thinking, "Oh, I'll buy it when it comes out." Yeah. I wonder if it's the mindshare thing, right? Of people talking about it. I wonder if that's part of it.
Hopefully. Well, let's get into the notes that you have, Amy.
Yeah, so I pulled these notes from Matt Piscatella, who publishes all of this on Twitter once a month. So I got some of his notes here. Aside from what we've already mentioned. Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War was the best-selling game of both December as well as 2020, while Call of Duty Modern Warfare was 2020's second bestseller. Call of Duty ranked as the best-selling gaming franchise in the US market for a record 12th consecutive year.
Flippin' neck.
It's been 12 years since it wasn't Call of Duty.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. Like,
Oh my god! Oh no, this the NPC. This is for America only. Isn't
This
it?
is for America, yeah.
Okay, there we go. Then I was just going to ask. I was just going to say, wow, FIFA's lower than I thought
It's
it was,
not.
but actually, it's America.
It's America. FIFA was. I read on GamesIndustry.biz that FIFA was the best-selling game in the UK in 2020, which makes sense. And yeah, it's like it would be lower on
in America
on the MPD, but the reason we use the MPD and not the UK one is the MPD tracks some of the digital sales, the UK doesn't, and also there's just a bigger sample size of people in America. Like the MPD in the United States is a better indicator of just how things are generally doing than any of the other sales things, which is why we use it. Got another note here. Animal Crossing: New Horizons was 2020's third best-selling game, the sixth best-selling game of December. In 2020, the title achieved the highest physical dollar sales for a Nintendo-published game in a calendar year since Wii Fit Plus in 2010. Couldn't quite beat Wii Fit Plus, but that's still pretty impressive.
Very impressive. For a game that was arguably just second tier for them overall, that was top tier.
So, yeah, no, Animal Crossing was not one of their big hitters. I mean, I think we talked about this at the beginning of 2020. It's like Animal Crossing, not one of their top tier franchises. It is now.
Expansions or sequels coming.
It's like I'd say before Breath of the Wild, like I'd say the same for Zelda. Zelda wasn't one of their top tier franchises, but then Breath of the Wild happened, and now it's definitely one of their top tier franchises.
Yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2 finished 2020 as the year's sixth best-selling title overall. The Last of Us Part 2 now ranks as the third best-selling Sony-published game in the US history in dollar sales, trailing only Marvel's Spider-Man and 2018's God of War.
Suck it, haters. I'll keep saying that when I hear something that until I get proven that no, it's so terribly, which we know it hasn't. I'm gonna say it every time.
Well, yeah, the thing is, like you and I, Moody, we subscribe to reality,
yes.
which can oftentimes be a bummer, but sometimes it works out quite nicely.
Actual facts. Gives you actual facts.
But we're always in control of the actual facts as opposed to feelings. December 2020 consumer spending across video game hardware, content, and accessories reached a December record $7.7 billion, 25% higher when compared to a year ago. Full year spending also set a new record, totaling $56.9 billion, 27% higher than 2019. I feel like this has been the trend all year, right? Yeah, because I feel like around about April, May time, it was kind of like, this is going to be a record-setting year for game spending.
Yeah.
But here's
2019 was a record spending win for Disney in movies alone, because I think they had like $10 billion movies that year, and then the games industry just came out and said you were going to have the highest one next year.
Yeah, just you wait.
Yeah, and it's just like, man,
$56.9 billion.
Yeah,
it's how much people spent on video games. Nintendo Switch was the best-selling hardware platform in units and dollars for both December and the 2020 year. Annual dollar sales of Switch hardware were the second highest for a platform in the US history. Only the 2008 dollar sales of Nintendo Wii were higher. I mean, again, it's like Switch is the best-selling console. I'm not surprised. Like, it's been the best-selling console month on month all year. But
now it's good. The end of this year is going to be the interesting one.
But it's historically good. Like, it was historically good this year, like last year. Mm-hmm. It's the second highest for a platform in the United States, only beaten by the Wii, which is also a Nintendo console.
Who would have thought?
Nintendo don't know what they're doing. I don't know. They seem to know exactly what they're doing.
Yeah.
The last note I've got here, PlayStation 5 finished 2020 as the number 2 best-selling console in dollar sales, while PlayStation 4 ranked second in units sold. PlayStation 5 set a new dollar sales record for PlayStation hardware through each platform's first December.
Fantastic.
Which I think we already knew, but I just added it in there anyway.
Are you surprised we haven't heard how many units they've sold yet?
No.
I thought we might have heard something by right now. I don't know why. I just thought we would have. I know Microsoft are never gonna say anything. Don't think they're ever gonna say anything about it.
That's not the game they're playing anymore, though.
Yeah. But so unless PlayStation has decided that's not the game they're gonna play anymore, and they're just gonna say we're best-selling games, our best-selling launch.
Because it's a record breaker, they will tell us because it's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
What I think they're just gonna wait. I think they're just gonna wait for the end of the financial year in March.
End of March, yeah. All right, that could be interesting. So, the beginning of April, we're going to be talking about this probably.
Yeah, I feel like it's every 3 months. They usually did that for PlayStation 4, where it was like it sold this many, and now it's sold this many, and now it's sold this many. So I think in like April, they'll probably be like, we've sold 5 million PlayStations or whatever the fuck it is.
But didn't they say they expect to send 17 million or something, or 7 million? Was it?
I just pulled a number out of the air.
Yeah.
Don't interrogate that number.
No, I am not interrogating your number. I'm just saying. I'm pretty sure that's what they said. I can't remember his bloody name.
Let me just have a look at this. Let's set
quick shout. Congratulations to all.
18 million sales in 2021. So by the end of 2021, they want to have sold 18 million.
Okay.
That's a lot.
Let's
see what happens. If they can actually manufacture enough, they might actually do it.
I think manufacturing part's not the hard part. I think it's getting it to people.
Let's move on. Where are we at? We are at. I'm going to try and add the two numbers together. Yeah, we got plenty of time. I just skipped. Nope. Scroll too far down. Dead by Daylight Studio apologizes following developers' comments about colourblind mode. This is from Marie D'Alessandri over at gamesindustry.biz, who writes, Dead by Daylight Studio Behavior Interactive publicly apologized after one of its developers criticized a viewer on Twitch for asking for a colourblind mod. The controversy also accelerated the reveal of said colourblind mod, which was subsequently unveiled on Twitter yesterday. As reported by Kotaku, Dead by Daylight's designer Ethan Lawson said on his personal Twitch stream on January 12th that it was, quote, getting very boring to hear a viewer babbling about colourblind mode all the time. We've heard it a million times. We know. He continued, as seen in a YouTube video showing the incident. Continuing to badger us about it is not going to change anything. If it gets done, it will get done when we have time to do it, or if someone decides that it's something that should be done. We know a lot of players want it. It's not a small number. We get it. End quote. A Twitter user brought the video to the attention of Able Gamers COO Steven Spawn, who called Behavior Interactive out yesterday, saying, quote, if you're tired of being badgered about it, imagine how tired people are of not being able to play your game because it's inaccessible to them, end quote. In its reply, Behavior Interactive said Lawson's opinion was not indicative of the views of the team and apologized for any frustration or harm this may have caused, and subsequently revealed that the team had been working on a colorblind mod for some time. The new mod should be added to the game shortly, though the developer has said it's unable to commit to a release date yet.
Your developer, stay the hell off Twitch and don't say anything about your job, man. Seriously. Just don't do it.
Like, not if you're going to be a dick about it.
Especially if you're going to be that as well. I understand to a certain extent it's like constantly getting badgered and everything like that. I understand a little bit, but coming across like a complete dickhead is not going to get you anywhere at all in any form of life. So, it's good that the bosses have come out and apologize for this, and it's good that this thing is coming. It's like the same thing kind of with I think it was it for Cyberpunk or was it a different game for a friend of ours, Scott Sedman, who couldn't play a certain game? I think it was Cyberpunk because of inaccessibility. So just controller in general, and it's just like it's important. Like these people want to play your game. Everyone wants to play your game. Everyone deserves to have a chance to play your game. And it's not fair for any developer, any developer, to not do this. You need to have accessibility in your games to allow everybody a shot to give it a try, because it's unfair to cut out a portion of people just because
let's break it down for a second, right? Like let's just break it down so I can just thoroughly point out how stupid this response was by Ethan Lawson. Like, you're being badgered by people who need an accessibility option to play your video game because they want to play your video game, because they're excited to play your video game, and you're getting mad at them for that?
Yep.
Like, come on. Hang on. Come on, mate. Think about it for a second. Just think about the words that you say. Think about the words that you put out into the universe before you say them. Like, it's not hard.
Yeah.
Like, especially when you're like, you are a representative of the game. You are a representative of the game, regardless of whether you have that little thing in your bio that says, well, my views do not reflect the reviews of my employer. It's like,
I hate seeing that because I'm just like, oh, so that means you're going to be a dick.
yeah. Oh, hold on. But yeah, it's just like, no, like, don't be a dick. Also, like, these people are asking for this mod because they want to play a game. Maybe let them. Like, this is why accessibility is a big deal to me. It's just like, the more people that can play the games that they want to play, the better. And
when one of the... Go on, sorry.
No, you go first, because mine's...
I was going to say, when one of the biggest Sony studios, Naughty Dogs, prioritized a lot on its accessibility for this game, for blind people, colorblind people, deaf people, the whole shebang, if they can do it, everyone can do it.
I feel like that's the perfect word. You've just hit on the perfect word there, Moody. Prioritize. I feel like this needs to be... I feel like accessibility should be prioritized in game development.
Yeah.
Because look, right, I am in a very privileged, fortunate position to be able to play whatever the fuck I want without worrying about what accessibility options exist in a video game.
Yeah.
Right? But, like, if, like, let's say, like... What's a game I'm really looking forward to this year? Resident Evil Village, because we talked about that. If Capcom came out and said, we're delaying Resident Evil Village by a year because we want to prioritize accessibility options to make sure that everybody who wants to play the game can play the game, 2 thumbs up from me. Cool, do it.
Yeah, we'll be praising them for that.
Like, every video game developer, especially AAA video game developers who have the resources to do it, should prioritize accessibility.
Yep.
Also,
guarantee you, Naughty Dog's next game is going to have those accessibility features they had it in for The Last of Us.
And guess what?
I'm not going to be very surprised if other developers from Sony are going to be doing this.
Yeah.
They'll just talk to Naughty Dog and say, okay,
well, what
did you do here? How can we do this?
Well, we talked about when PS5 revealed its UI and everything, we talked about system-level accessibility was becoming a thing with the PlayStation 5, right? Like, It's not just necessarily on the games themselves, but also, like, there are system-level accessibility options in PS5 that can just put settings on all the games that you play on it, which is amazing. Yep. That's a fantastic idea, too. Like... It's great. But here's if you want the business point of this, if you want me to take away like the part where it's the right thing to do and just convince you on the business part of this, more people can buy your game if they can play it.
Exactly. I've said all the time, and Amy doesn't like me when I say this. I love capitalism if it's done right. If you do that, you're doing it right. Giving it to everybody.
That's socialism. Yeah, capitalism sucks. Just lastly, I went on Stephen Spawn's Twitter page just to see if like there'd been any follow up to this, and he's put a tweet out, which is like he's quoting somebody else, and it just says they said they would add that in eventually. Just stop battering them about accessibility and wait patiently. And then he's responded with the Captain America gif from Avengers Endgame. No, I don't think I will. And I was like, that's a good one.
Respect.
I love Steven Spawn. He's fantastic.
I don't think I follow him on Twitter. I'm gonna resort that now.
He's a really cool person. Let's just very quickly touch on the next story, which is we talked, I think, last week about all of those release dates and release windows that Sony put out for a bunch of games in its CES 2021 trailer. Sony, I'm not going to bother reading the full story I've copied here. But if you want to see the nitty gritty details, it's about it. The story I pulled was by Emma Ball from Tech Radar, but basically, they re-uploaded the trailer to YouTube, and all of the dates and windows are gone. Except for Horizon Forbidden West, which says 2021. Ratchet and Clank, which still says 2021, and Returnal, which has a release date. It's coming out March 19th. Like everything else, Stray, Ghostwire Tokyo, Kena, Bridge of Spirits, Devil Inside, Solar Ash.
Oh wow! Like
Project
Kena,
Athia, Pragmata.
Everyone was saying March, so we got to be getting a date soon and everything. So they've put it so that obviously they're going to reveal it when they're ready to reveal it and everything. So
I feel like I don't know. It was a weird one anyway because like it's such a weird way to reveal like release windows for games. Like that's generally something you tend to highlight a little bit more than just like on a one small still image on a CES trailer because nobody's watching a Sony CES trailer. So I feel like that it's just that none of these games have necessarily been delayed. Like I think it's just one of those things where there's going to be a state of play in like March, which is going to have a bunch of this information in it. And it's going to be highlighted properly. Like,
I'm still calling it, Keith. Ghostwire Tokyo is not coming out this year.
I mean, you know what? I hope it does. I hope it does because I want to play it because it looks cool. Regardless of Fantasy Critic, right? Like, I'm still excited.
Only of me, Fantasy Cricket people, cricket,
Fantasy Cricket.
That's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. Nah, I can't bother with that one. Let's do Celeste B-side composers haven't been paid royalties in almost 2 years. This is from Natalie Clayton over at PC Gamer, who writes, a growing number of game composers have accused music label and publisher Materia Collective of failing to pay royalties on songs and streams going back almost 2 years. Famed for their work on tribute albums for the likes of Final Fantasy and Kingdom Hearts, Materia took over publishing duties for the Celeste soundtrack back in July 2019 after composer Lena Raine handed off distribution rights to work on other projects. But last week, contributing artist 2Mello claimed on Twitter that he hadn't received payment for his work on Celeste B-sides, and that at least 3 other musicians on the album, which includes remixes of the game's original soundtrack and is sold for $5, had not been paid since that date. In the hours that followed, other composers have spoken out against Materia. Laura Intravia, whose catalogue includes soundtracks for Destiny 2 and Mortal Kombat 11, claims to have missed 13 months of payments from the label, while Zed composer Alex Parrish hasn't heard from Materia since her album went live in July 2019. Quote, I'm aware that 5 out of 7 of the artists involved in the B-Sides album are in the exact same situation as me, Mello told PCG via DM over the weekend. We all received tax forms and personal info sheets to fill out to get registered with the company, and communication stopped there. I saw 8 other accounts yesterday, and more people who claim to have worked for Materia and seen the bad state their payment system was in while they were there, or heard many artists weren't getting paid, so at least over a dozen artists have been affected, end quote. Following an early apology to Mello and the B-side artists, the label later said since responded... The label later has since responded to the wider claims. An email sent to artists explains the situation further, that their in-house Materia dashboard was no longer up to task in tracking royalty payments, and that all artists should be fully compensated by mid-February. Minimum payment thresholds have also been dropped to ensure everyone gets paid regardless of how much they're owed. And then they put another statement out, which is basically the same. But longer. The label says it's putting everything else on hold until the issue is sorted. In the meantime, Materia urges any other artist with issues to reach out to its email address. But even if Materia fixes the royalty situation, the reputational damage may linger. We can stop that there. That's fucked up.
So pay these people, for God's sakes.
Pay people. We had this issue a few years ago. Who was it who didn't pay their developers for ages? There was a hashtag and we started pushing for it. I think it was Microsoft. But yeah, like pay people. Jesus, like like they're trying to fix it, and I can respect the fact that they're trying to fix it. But it shouldn't have taken so many people coming out and saying, "Look, I haven't been paid for." In some cases, years.
It should never happen. It should never happen at all. This type of thing whatsoever. You get a person in to pay to come and do a job for you. You pay the buggers. It ain't hard. Do it. This is a lot of bollocks.
Like friggin' the person who Alex Parrish, like, hasn't heard from them since July 2019 when they put their album out. Right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like at some point, I'm assuming, at some point Alex Parrish must have tried to contact them.
You gotta think that. You gotta think it.
So, like, when Materia comes out and says, well, it's the Materia dashboard, it's not up to the task, I'm assuming you didn't just find this out. Laura and Travia didn't get paid for 13 months. Like,
Not good.
if I didn't get paid for 13 months, I might have tried talking to the company who's supposed to pay me. And so I guarantee these people did.
Just a little bit.
So there's definitely way more to it than our dashboard failed.
Yeah. Definitely way more to it. Like I said, any company out there, you pay your staff. It's not rocket science.
Yep.
If you don't like, even if you don't like what they've done for you, you still pay them.
Yeah. If you owe them money, you pay them money. It's that simple.
Yep.
Lastly, Moody. The Uncharted movie has been delayed to February 22nd. February 11th, 2022. I totally misread that.
Yeah, you don't need to read the thing.
No, it's fine.
No.
It's not a the Uncharted movie's in trouble thing. It's a all movies everywhere have been delayed thing.
By Sony, yeah. They've pushed a lot of things here, and basically they've had to because they've moved their biggest one, obviously, which is Bond, No Time to Die.
Apparently, there's plenty of time to die.
This was obviously going to be getting pushed as well, which isn't a problem at the end of the day. If you think about it, this gives the visual effects artists to get the visual effects even more buttery smooth and everything even more sexy.
Yeah.
It gives the people who are going to be sorting out the trailer a better chance to get a good trailer put together to whenever it's going to happen. Now I can't say this trailer now coming until probably Comic-Con now, so
which will be another online event.
Probably, yeah.
The best way to think of it is this, right? All these movies keep getting delayed, right? But people are still making movies. So at some point, the bow will break and all of these movies are going to start coming out. There's going to be like this run of like 6 months to 12 months where like amazing movie after amazing movie after amazing movie after amazing movie is just going to come out.
Hopefully, hope so, yeah. But this is just, even though I'm not doing my podcast right now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. It really is. We've heard rumblings that Black Widow's going to get delayed, but I think they're going to hold that until there's latest. There's Disney are going to hold that until as late as they can.
Yeah,
they're going to see how the rollout is with this vaccine in America, at least with the new administration and everything. So, but we'll see what happens and everything.
Oh, you mean the vaccine plan that Trump didn't have? Yeah, I read about that on Twitter.
Doesn't that just make Biden's job a little easier? It's just like, so I was already going to throw this bugger out anyway, so I don't have to flush anything down the toilet.
I read about that on Twitter. It was like he didn't have a plan for rolling out the vaccine, so like they've got to come up with a plan from scratch. It's just like, Jesus.
Well, thank God he was already doing that. That's the thing. He sorted out a team ages ago, and they've already got a plan in place. So, yeah. So,
yeah, cool. There's games out next week, Mooney. There's a lot of games out next week.
Apparently.
Yeah, I'm going to do the thing where I go pee. Have fun.
You go do that. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get cracking into it. The games out this week. January 26th, you got 2 games. One is Cyber Shadow, PC, PlayStation 5, the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Game Pass, and Nintendo Switch. The world has been taken over by synthetic life forms. A desperate plea for help sets Shadow, the sole survivor of his clan, on one last mission to uncover what started the path to ruin. Sims 4, the Paranormal Stuff Pack, PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox. Light the candles and prepare the rituals to please your ghastly new roommates in The Sims Paranormal Stuff Pack. That's all it is, basically. Right, the Eye of Atlantis PC with a little help from Historia time travel agency set sail on to the city of Atlantis for a VR mystical adventure. Fill in the scandals of the Athenians who recently broke out of prison, wield supernatural powers, solve puzzles, and try to prevent the end of Atlantis. Everyone tries to do that. Next week, also, that one, In the Eye of Atlantis, was January 27th. January 28th, The Medium, PC, Xbox Series X and S, and Game Pass. Discover a dark mystery only the Medium can solve. Travel to an abandoned resort and use your unique psychic abilities to uncover its deeply disturbing secrets. Solve dual reality puzzles, solve encounters with sinister spirits and explore two realities at the same time. There's a lot of solving in that.
Solve it all, Moody.
Solve it all. Yakuza, the remastered collection, comes to PC, Xbox, and Game Pass. Celebrate the Kazuma Kiryu saga with the beautiful remastered Yakuza 3, 4, and 5 with restored content and updated localization of 1080p to 60 frames per second. Experience the complete Yakuza collection. Disjunction, yeah. PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch. Disjunction is a cyberpunk stealth action RPG set in an underworld of a 2048 New York. Experience a reactive intertwining story of three playable characters working to uncover unfortunate truths that will change the fate of the city forever. Olgi? PC, Nintendo Switch. Olija. Okay, my apologies.
That's all right.
Olija, ladies and gentlemen, is a game about a fair day's quest, a man shipwrecked, then trapped in the mysterious country of Terrafairs, I think. Armed with a legendary harpoon, he and other castaways try to leave the hostile country to return to their homelands. Sword of the Necromancer, PC, PlayStation 5 and 4, Xbox Series X and S with the Xbox One and Nintendo Switch. Help Tamer to save Coco using the powers of the forbidden Sword of the Necromancer. Turn your foes into allies and reach the depths of the Necromancer dungeons, but defeat the Guardians to gain enough soul power to bring Coco back from the dead, no matter the cost. Touhou, PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox, Nintendo Switch, and Google Stadia. Experience a brand new adventure game set among the world of weird and wonderful fish planets. Explore beautiful environments, solve puzzles, and discover the truth about a mysterious little girl and her mechanical alter ego, Kubus.
Fish
January
planets.
26th. Sorry?
Just fish planets. Oh, that got me. Yeah. I'm just looking it up now.
January 26th, Gods Will Fall. PC, PlayStation 4, the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and Google Stadia. The Gog's torturous rule of humanity has lasted for millennia. Bent on cruelty and suffering, they demanded to be served with blind worship through an oath of fertility pledged from every man, woman, and child. To those who don't submit to the God's will, a slow and merciless death awaits. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. That's all the games. My pick of the week is The Medium. That's coming to the Game Pass and the Xbox and PC. I'm looking forward to this game. I'm gonna pre-prepared to download on my PC through Game Pass, and I'm gonna be smashing it out hopefully next week. But Amy's pick of the week is completely different.
I see what they mean by fish planets. Sorry, I've looked up the game. It looks quite cute, actually. Yes, my pick of the week, Cyber Shadow, which is also coming to Game Pass, and on every other platform. Basically, it's published. It's like a 2D action Contra type deal, like Contra-ish kind of thing. It's being published by Yacht Club Games, so it's been published by the guys who did Shovel Knight. And if they're like, this game looks good, I want to publish it, we'll publish it. Looks so good, we'll publish it. You know what I mean? Because Shovel Knight, amazing. I love Shovel Knight.
Shovel Knight was an excellent game, ladies and gentlemen. Let's be honest here, it really is a good game.
It's time though, matey. For OpenCritic head-to-head, that's right, it's back. It's begun. OpenCritic head-to-head has started, basically. This is the game. Every single week, myself and Moody try to guess the OpenCritic average of one upcoming game. Whoever gets closest gets 1 point. If you manage to guess the score correctly, you get 2 points. Last week, we tried to guess the OpenCritic average of Hitman 3. I guessed it would get an 85. Moody guessed it would get an 87. And wouldn't you fucking believe it? It got an 86.
It did start at 87.
It did start at 87, but
it changed
dropped.
yesterday or Wednesday night.
I saw the 87 and I was like, you know what? I wanted it to go up. One, because I have the game on Fantasy Critic, but two, just so that the first one we did wouldn't be a fucking draw, but also so that you would only get 1 point instead of 2.
Yeah.
So that means that the current scores, Amy 0, Moody 0, and 1 draw, which is Hitman 3.
Yep.
So this week, we're going to try and... That was a false start, right, Moody? That was a false start. This week, we're going to try and get out of the traps. That's the thing, isn't it? That's the thing that they stand on. And then
I believe
go,
so, yeah.
And then they run off that traps.
Mm-hmm.
This week, we're going to try and get going with the medium. So, Moody, what do you think the OpenCritic average score for the medium is going to be at the time of recording next week?
85.
85. I'm going to modify mine slightly. So it can't.
Was yours 85 as well?
No, it's just. So it can't possibly draw.
Okay.
I'm going to add 1 to the score I was going to predict.
Okay.
So that there's no way we can meet in the middle this time.
Yeah, that's fair.
But if it gets the score that I was going to say, I'm going to be mad. I'm going to be so mad. My guess is 76.
76. So what were you originally
Originally, I was going to go 75.
Okay.
But then I was like, no, because if
even though we're both excited for this game, you don't think it's going to get the highest of reviews?
There's a lot to it. Like, I don't know, it's weird. Like, I did research movie. and like the last game, these like, and I'm not saying, hey, it could be amazing, right? You know, but also in a game like OpenCritic head to head, you're only as good as your last game. And the last game they did was Blair Witch. And it wasn't great.
I would like to change my score.
But you know what? This could be amazing, and it looks really good.
It only takes 1.
I'm just playing the game.
Yeah.
And hopefully, fingers crossed, I'll be playing the actual game next week. We'll see how my PC reacts to, what is it, a game with dual realities running side by side.
Are you not going to play it on you? Is it? Oh, it's not on.
It's not on Xbox One.
Oh.
So we'll see how that works. Hey, look, man, if there's so many games that I'm not, like, if I can't play the medium, I'll just play it later in the year. Because at some point, hopefully, I'll have a Series Xbox. At some point in 2021, fingers crossed. But, hey, there's plenty more games to play this coming week.
That is true. There's a lot of games, which is fantastic.
There is. It's like hard to know where to start. Like Tohu I didn't even read the description for it before I copy pasted it. But then you mentioned Fish Planets, and I was like, wait, what? Fish Planets? And I went on the Steam page, and I was like, it actually looks pretty cute. I might play it.
Yeah, I've just had a look at the trailer for Cyber Shadows, and I've literally put that on my wish list for Steam on Steam. So I'm just like,
yeah, it's on Game Pass, or will be on Game Pass. So
it's coming on Game. Oh, is it coming to PC Game Pass?
I don't know.
Shouldn't make it. It actually really shouldn't make a difference because of how I've got my setup now. My Xbox is right in front of me, and it's easy just to plug it in, turn on and off, and everything now. So even if it isn't, I can just download it on my PlayStation. Not my PlayStation, my Xbox.
Yeah. What you got to remember now is, Mooney, we got Steam Share set up.
That as well.
So if I get a code for something on Steam, you'll also be able to play it.
Yeah.
That's it. That's the podcast.
That's it. We're done. We're done and dusted.
Go and watch Bloodborne 6 years later on my YouTube, youtube.com/wordsaboutgamesuk, because hey, it's a good video. People seem happy with it.
I enjoyed it,
which is good because, again, like I said last week, I watched it through so many times. By the end, I was just like, I don't know what this is anymore. Is it good? Is it bad? Is it what? You get to that point.
Don't know what this means anymore.
There's a short Hades video coming out later next week. Just keep your eyes out for that. And I have downloaded and installed the game that I'm going to do my next retrospective on. So
cool.
Will not be an hour and 10 minutes long.
Boo.
Still a good one though. I was thinking, I almost for you, I almost did, and I was going to keep this as a surprise until I actually finished the video and published it. And this, I might still do this at some point, but I almost did Dino Crisis. And I would have kept it I was going to keep it a secret until the video came out. Just for you. So no, Moody, that is on my radar.
Oh, Amy.
That is a likely 2021 candidate for a retrospective. But we, I think, are gonna get the fuck out of here.
We're done.
Yeah, it's weird.
Adios.
Finish the podcast, and I've still got most of a day left.
I know, it's weird. It's like we could play something together.
We could if I wasn't having to sort tea out.
I want to be playing Hitman. Hopefully, it's installed.
Also, yes, I want to play Hitman tonight. And Maiden, and there's other games as well. But we'll talk about those on Monday. Until then, have a great weekend. And
you too, ladies and gentlemen, and you too, Amy.
And we'll both see you on Monday. Bye.
With Hitman 3/4.
Yeah, we're going to review a game together. Whoa!